Hi, everyone. I'm Bala Chandran. I'm the co-founder CEO of Lumo. We are a bunch of mathematicians and aviation geeks, and the premise behind the company is that flight delays are predictable and somewhat avoidable. And so we're a Boston-based startup, and the problem we were trying to solve was this thing that seems virtually unchanged in decades, right? Everyone who's traveled knows that you show up at the airport, and then your flight gets delayed, and there's really very little advanced information of that happening. And so what we tried to do is to say, well, can we change that by predicting delays before they happen? And the reason nothing's changed in a long time is because it's a really hard problem to solve. There are many moving parts. And just technically, it's a really hard, complicated, hairy problem. But one of the key aspects of this whole ecosystem is that it's entirely reactive. It's based on real-time data. So whether you're an airline or a passenger, you're reacting to real-time data to try and fix a disruption after it's happened. And that's where Lumo comes in. So what we do is we predict delays before they happen. We ingest various data sources like weather, like air traffic control data. And for example, if you're trying to book a flight 2 months out, we might tell you, well, the 5 p.m. Delta has a slightly lower likelihood of delay than the 4 p.m. American because of how the schedule is constructed. Or if you're traveling tomorrow, we might say your Chicago-Boston flight might be delayed because it's flying through San Francisco, which is going to have a fog delay. And so what we're doing is constantly trying to predict how the airspace is going to play out on a global scale. Right, so we ingest all of this data, pipe it through some really cool algorithms, and out comes predictions, which we distribute via APIs and a SaaS model. And our goal is to help the entire travel ecosystem. So we're working with travel management companies who want to pipe this data through to help their passengers rebook before the delay happens. Or we're trying to work with airlines to build more robust schedules. We're working with travel insurance to dynamically price policies, because if I can tell you that this particular policy has a much higher risk of misconnecting than this other one, there's something you can do about that. So we're trying to work across the entire ecosystem. We closed a round of funding earlier this year, led by JetBlue Ventures. Plug and Play was part of the round as well. So we're trying to work with travel management companies, several in this room, airlines, airports, travel insurance. And our goal is to be a data source for the entire travel ecosystem. And hopefully we'll all look back and say, you know, there was a time when we used to travel, we used to just show up at the airport, and we don't do that anymore. And the closest parallel I think of is Waze. Today, when you drive out from here to Sunnyvale, you know when you leave roughly when you're going to get there, right? We take it for granted. And hopefully that's what we want to be for air travel going forward. So I'll be right out there if you want to talk to me after, or if you want a good way to cook an egg in the microwave, I'm happy to help you with either. So thanks for listening.